All right, guys. No, 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 that's weird. I know. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not a YouTuber. I've gotten a lot of messages asking people to have us predict the Noralta Junior C Hockey League standings. So we're going to take all these teams, we're going to predict them, just the regular season standings. We're just going to predict them 1st to 14th, give a little background on how they've done in preseason, and just give our best guess as to how the season's going to go this year. First up, we got the Southwest Zone Oil Kings. Last year, they finished second in the league. Playoffs, they lost to the Edmonton Mavericks in the semifinals. In the best of three, they lost 2-1. I think they're going to be quite strong again. They always are, hey, Nick?
Yeah, I think they're going to be a strong team again this year, but I think they're going to be um, losing a couple of key guys this year, aging out. So I honestly could see them finishing third or fourth. I don't think they'll be first or second, but no lower than fourth, and definitely a solid competition for third.
They're always got a strong team, and there's always seems like guys want to play there, especially with the championship a couple of years ago. I'd put them in third.
Can't see them slipping much farther than third.
Next up, we got one of my favorite teams, the Gibbons Broncos. Oh, small town, man. Just love playing, love heading out to one of these games. I got to get out to a couple more of their games this year. Man, it was iconic. Those like Friday nights driving out to Gibbons and freezing cold and packed rink. Oh, I miss those days. So they finished seventh last year, and they lost to the Oil Kings in the first round / quarterfinals 2-1. Preseason results: they had a loss versus St. Albert. Not sure what the score was because St. Albert just said they beat them in a post, so not able to figure out what the score was, but they did lose to St. Albert in preseason. Um, Gibbons, they've always had, the past couple of years have been a little bit rough on the team. They lost obviously their best goalie, and some of the older guys starting to fade out a little bit, not playing as much. I last year they snuck into the playoffs. They kind of turned it on. I don't know what the team is exactly looking like this year. I just don't know if they're going to be able to get into a playoff spot this year. Just if they've got some new younger guys coming up that can keep the team at that consistent level, I think they'll sneak in. But again, I'm not sure who they've got coming in for replacement. So I just don't know if I'd throw them in a playoff spot right now.
No, I'd have to agree with you there. I think they just miss it in the ninth or tenth position there, based off the players they've lost over the last couple of years and the last little bit of the couple players they're losing this year. I think it'll depend on who they get to replace those players and what they got. But like we said, there's not much information out there at this point in the year, and that's what's fun about ranking these things blind, right? Is being wrong. So as it stands right now, with the info I got, I don't think they get any higher than ninth,
Yeah, I'm gonna put
somewhere
them
between
nine. Yeah,
nine or 10.
are you happy if I put them ninth? I think they're
I think they're going to finish ninth. I think it's going to come down to the last game of the season, and the cookie's just not going to crumble in their favor.
the cookie's not gonna crumble. Next up, we got the St. Albert Comets. Always a good team. They finished first last year. They did probably bow to playoffs a bit too early in their minds. They lost to the Mavericks in the semifinals 2-1. Um, Preseason results: unknown score. They had a win versus Gibbons. Again, we just mentioned a win. They didn't say a score in the Instagram caption of their next game. And they had a 3-1 loss to the Mavericks. So they beat Gibbons and they lost to the Mavericks. We'll get to the Mavericks in a bit. They'll be good this year. I think St. Albert's, always a good team. They got a good coach, good management. They treat it like it's a good environment to be in. They get, it's not professional, but they treat it like, a junior team, right? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think they'll make the playoffs easily. I think they'll be high up for sure, kind of around the Oil Kings.
Honestly, I would have no problems putting St. Albert to finish first again this year. Um, they seem to every year be as solid as the year before, if not more so. They have a very good job. They do a very good job of recruiting new talent onto the teams to replace pieces that they lose to aging out every year. And so I think first or second is definitely within the realm of possibility for St. Albert again. I think that I would put them as first right now. The team I have in second could easily eclipse them, but it will be neck and neck between St. Albert at 1 and the team I have at 2nd. So
All right, perfect. Yeah, I'll put them at 1 for sure. But again, yeah, a lot of these are going to go either way. So, great. St. Albert at first. Next up, we got the Sierra Icemen. Again, always a tough team to find stuff on. The only stat right now is that they finished last year. I have had a bit of dialogue with the manager over there saying that the camp's going well. They're running a better camp than last year, and they're quite confident that things are going to be going a little bit better than last year. Yeah, it's sometimes tough. It's a tough sell for these big organizations that have these junior C teams, but I don't have much hope for them to make the playoffs. I would probably throw them in 13th or 14th, honestly, to finish last or 13th. But I hope they prove me wrong.
Yeah, based upon the year they had last year, and I hope that what you're hearing about their camp going well this year is correct, but I honestly can see them finishing 14th again this year. And then if word is to be believed that their camp's going well, hopefully that can build into another good camp next year and they can build their way back up the standings. But as it stands right now, I think that they're finishing 14th again.
Yeah, I'm happy to put them there as well. All right, our favorite team, the Southwest Zone Ice Kings. Love those guys. I got a lot to say about these guys, but they finished 6th last year after an incredible coaching job from Nick Botros behind the bench. They lost to Beaumont in the first round / quarterfinals, 2-1. No preseason results that I could find. I doubt they've played any preseason games, but from my years of watching the Ice Kings, and I mean your years of being behind the bench for them, it seems they're just always a team that managed to get in and do a little bit better than that. I always say they're so inconsistent. Like, consistency just doesn't happen, but they always find a way to kind of get in. So this year, I'm not sure, just kind of from what I'm hearing from some of the guys saying they're in a little tougher with losing some of the older guys, and things are happening and not getting as many players as they normally would. So I don't know. What do you think, Nick? You're the expert.
Yeah, there are a couple big losses going into this year. Some guys aging out and some people not returning. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of it. I think the biggest thing in my tenure there, the most consistent thing, was the inconsistency, right? You go on hot streaks, you go on very cold streaks, and then you go on hot streaks, but they always found a way to sneak it into the playoffs at the end of the day. But I don't think
this is going to happen this year, unfortunately. I think the Cinderella story's over. I hope they prove us wrong, but from what I'm hearing, it might be tough for these guys this year. All right, moving on to the Junior Braves Athletic Club. Info on them: they finished 8th last year, just barely made it into a playoff. I think they beat St. Albert in like a must-win game on like the last day of the season. And then they lost to St. Albert 2-1 in the quarterfinals / first round. Junior Braves, another team, they always kind of find themselves in that mid-pack, always kind of make it into the playoffs. And, I think I know where you're going to want to put them, but I'll hear what you have to say first.
Oh, no, I think they have a pretty solid team. I know last year they had a pretty young team, and so I think that they're going to take a step. I think they're going to finish a little higher than 8th. I could see them taking a step to 6 or 7. I think they're definitely a playoff team, but they're definitely no higher than 6 for me.
Yeah, I'm good to put them 6 too. And like you said, if they got a younger squad and guys getting a year older and coming back to play, that makes a huge difference for sure.
Absolutely.
We don't have the inside scoop on these teams. Like, it's us, getting messages from people or reading comments here and there. So, we're doing the best we can. But yeah, hopefully we're right. I'd put them at 6 too. Moving on to the Beaumont Buccaneers, the curse of Beaumont. I hate saying that, but it is what it is. They finished 3rd last year, made it all the way to the finals again. Lost in the it was best of 3. They lost in game 3 to the Mavericks. Preseason results: they had a 4-2 loss to Millet. So not sure. I mean, I know they lost a couple of the older guys as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure what they got coming up for youth. I know, it's always with the small town teams, they usually do okay, right? With kids wanting to, it's basically a continuation of minor hockey, right?
Yeah.
How it is with Beaumont this year, I'm not sure. I haven't seen any of their practices or preseason games or anything like that. Obviously, they'll always make it into the playoffs in my mind.
I think Beaumont's going to kind of feel the downward shift of the junior cycle where you build up young guys for a couple of years, and as they get stronger, your team does better. And as that core group kind of ages out, which theirs kind of has, you have to restart that process. So I can see them falling from third to fourth. I wouldn't put them any lower than fourth, but I can see them definitely finishing fourth this year.
Next up, we got Millet Lightning, and I think my prediction on these guys was pretty wrong last year. I think I predicted them to make the playoffs, and they finished 11th last year. Didn't make the playoffs. Preseason results promising, like we talked before. They beat Beaumont, 4-2 win over Beaumont in the preseason. Again, it's preseason. I'm not sure what we can draw from that, but yeah, I don't know with Millet, man. It's hard to tell because it seems like they kind of had this young group off the start of the franchise, still a new team. And now maybe is it a case of it's finally starting to come together? I know I'm taking that from the one preseason win, but what do you think?
I look at the context, not knowing the context of the game. The 4-2 win over Beaumont is always huge, and going up against them last year, they definitely had a solid foundation to build upon. So if their returning players take a step forward this year and they bring in some guys to complement the core they're trying to build around, I can see them sneaking into that 8th spot. It'd be my wild card prediction would be Millet being the ones to sneak in.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they're going to be just good enough this year and sneak in. I'll put them at 8th too. Next up, we got the Devon Bison. Again, another newer team. Don't know much about them. Did a bit of work with them last year, so cool, bunch of cool guys, awesome team. They finished 10th last year. Had a tough go at it, as most expansion teams do. Overall, it's just tough to know what you're gonna get with these teams. I don't think they're gonna bring in they've got a whole new squad coming in of whole new players that are gonna completely transform them. I'd like to think that they maybe sneak into a playoff spot, but I just don't know if that's going to be the case.
No, I can see them. Yeah, that's the tough part now is we're running out of spots here. And looking at the teams we have left.
We can move them over if we need to.
Oh, no, it's good. I'm liking where we have teams. It's just where we slotting these other guys in. I can see Devon finishing just under the Ice Kings in 11th, just taking a slight step back before possibly taking a big step forward the following season. But it's one of those things with a newer franchise, you don't really know, you don't really have much history to go off of, right? And so, sadly, I have to put them at 11th.
Yeah, I'm going to put them there right with you. Because when I was making this script, they played Beaumont tonight, and I bet that game is over. So we're going to check who won that game, see if the boys posted up for us. No score. Beaumont Instagram letting us down. It wasn't on the website, eh?
No, they don't have anything until regular season starting next week.
Story post. No score line here either. No score line from either team. All right, so we don't have the result from that one. But again, SHTH Con always kind of been one of those teams that unfortunately sits towards the bottom of the standings, and that doesn't change season to season, as we've kind of said with these other teams. Yeah, we'll see with these guys. I mean, I don't know if they had a good game against Beaumont. I guess it's a telling tale, but yeah, I would probably put them in that 12th or 13th spot again.
Yeah, I'd probably put them in that 13 spot.
Yeah, let's do that. Ooh, now it's getting tough, eh? All right, next up we got the reigning league champions, the Edmonton Mavericks. They finished 4th last year and then had an unreal playoff run. Made it all the way to the championship, beating the Oil Kings 2-0. One of the only series in the whole playoffs that was a sweep. I know it's only a best of 3, but most of them went 2-1. They beat St. Albert 3-1 in preseason, so nothing worrying to see there. And I know we had St. Albert up there in first or second, but I think you throw the Mavericks right up there with them.
Yeah, that was my team that was flip-flopping with St. Albert. My prediction is one of those they're going to finish 1-2, and the rest are going to be fighting for 3.
Getting close to the end here, we got the Sherwood Park Renegades. They finished 5th last year and lost to Mavericks 2-0 in the quarterfinals/first round. No preseason results to go off of. Again, Sherwood Park, they kind of remind me of the Minnesota Wild a little bit. They get in there and they win the games they need to win, and they make it in, but they usually similar to the Ice Kings almost in a way. They can't get it done in playoffs, but
yeah, just can't take that next step.
Yeah, but they'll always try and make it in, get close, and
Sure.
Just do it quietly with a lot of penalty minutes. Actually, they had
exactly
led the league in penalty minutes last year. So
yeah.
What are you thinking? This is a tough one here. I'm not sure what they're looking like for new guys coming in and out. I know every team loses a couple older guys, but I think with a town like Sherwood Park where you have so many players, a lot of kids, they have no problem replacing kids that want to come play Junior C. So I think
exactly.
Yeah, you'd put them in again, hey?
Yeah, I'd put them in the number 5 slot for that exact reason of anyone they lose, they have the population to replace, and I think that I can't see them getting worse than last year, and I yet to see anything from them just because the season hasn't started on if they can improve from last year. But I think leaving them where they finished last year is a good spot.
Okay, down to the final 2 now. So we've got Nez North Stars. They finished 9th last year. Didn't make playoffs. Again, a bit of a newer team. They came back, and I do chat with some of those guys often. I see them at the rink, and they're always like, "Oh, this is the year, man. This is the year. We're getting better. We got a better team coming up. This and that." So, I think this might be the year that they finally get in. Who knows? Maybe that Nez. It's a big program. It's a big association in Edmonton, anyways. By the size, it's a big association in Edmonton with the size of kids that are playing for them. So. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get into a playoff spot. I don't know about you.
No, and that's why I left I wanted to leave that number 7 spot open, is because I know the coaching staff for the North Stars pretty well. Played hockey with some of the guys on the coaching staff there, and what they're doing with that team and what they were able to achieve last year and the steps they want to take this year, I can easily see them making the playoffs in that number 7 position.
All right. Well, that leaves us with the last team here, the CR Knights, one of the newest teams again in the NJHL. They finished 12th last year. Again, newer team, still learning the ropes a little bit. But yeah, at this point, I guess it could change. I could see them flip-flop in between 10 to 12, but that 12 spot seems pretty fitting for them at this point.
Yeah, I think so. Just again, newer team in the league, and don't quite have that full history of patterns that they're running through their organization quite yet to make a accurate prediction off of the past. So I think it's safe to say that putting them where they finished last year is a good bet.
Yep. All right, and that wraps it up. So we got the St. Albert Comets in first, Edmonton Mavericks in second, Southwest Zone Oil Kings third, Beaumont Buccaneers fourth, Sherwood Park Renegades fifth, Junior Braves sixth, Nez North Star seventh, Millet eighth, Gibbons Broncos 9th, Southwest Zone Ice Kings 10th, Devon Bison 11th, Sierra Knights 12th, Strathcona Warriors 13th, and Sierra 14th. Again, really tough to predict with this league. We don't have a lot of information. I always say that every time I make one of these prediction videos, just so people don't roast in the comments too hard. But we try and get the info that we can, and go off of that and try and make a prediction video here for you guys. So hopefully we're wrong. Otherwise, let us know if you guys are playing this year, where you're thinking the team will do, and feel free to leave your predictions in the comments as well. We're happy to hear them. Thank you guys for checking out this prediction video for the Noralta Junior Hockey League, local Junior C League here in Edmonton, something that Nick and I, very close to both of our hearts, and we're both still very involved in. If you have any predictions in the comments, any leagues you guys want us to check out before the season starts, just let us know and we'll try and get there. But thanks for watching.